And that is the answer. How could it be number one in the world?
And this is pursuit of greatness.
Welcome to GCTV, and take a look at the aerial shot there here in London with the Royal Chelsea just behind us. We are on the doorstep of the veterans. They are playing host to us today, and we are ever so thankful and so excited to be able to pay them in return, to be here to bring the Global Champions League to their doorstep, to bring the Global Champions League to the people of London and to you watching here on GCTV today. My name is Mark Lewis. Thank you very much for joining us, and what a second round of Global Champions League we have lined up today. 5 teams on double clear. Rome Gladiators, arguably the biggest surprise of the lot. But as it stands, that championship fight continues to heat up, because just take a look at who is second and who is fourth there. There is absolutely no room for error as both championship contenders in the Riesenbach International and Paris Panthers continue to jump superbly. Monaco Aces will be happy with a 5. Good performance for them in context of the season. But from a top 4 battle perspective, with the Stockholm Hearts on double clear, the 8 and 12 of Prague Lions and Saint-Tropez Pirates opens up the door dramatically for the Stockholm Hearts to really make up some ground and once again put themselves as the front runners in that front row seat for the GCL Super Cup semi-finals. Stay with us here on GCTV as we continue to look to not just the teams on double clear, but of course throughout the rest of the field. Speaking of the double clears, I believe that Gareth is standing by with Rob Hoekstra, the man who has remained completely calm throughout this title race. So I'd love to find out just how and why. What is in the mindset of the manager of Paris Panthers? Gareth, over to you. Let's find out.
Mark's just said you have remained completely calm so far, Rob Hoekstra. Is that the case?
Yeah, as I said, we're not really under pressure. You know, it's all up to Riesenbach really to make mistakes or not. You know, I mean, this course is it's going to take some jumping. Some things will happen in this course for sure. Hopefully not to us, but you never know with horses. You know, but interesting, yeah.
Obviously, a little bit of a change in the team. Gregory's coming in now. Yeah. That was always the plan, though. But how do you think that? Does that play to your advantage?
Well, Greg's horse has been jumping really well. It's mainly because Ben's horse is jumping this level for the first time. He's a young horse. I didn't want to put that extra pressure on that horse in case we need to turn up a bit shorter somewhere. Obviously, Harry with Monaco has been on fantastic form, and that's the choice we made, and we'll live with it.
Talking of turning up shorter, especially with like 5 teams now, you know, you're not just battling for the win with one team, that's for the championship. Time is going to play its part, isn't it, today?
I'll be a bit surprised, to be honest, because I think this will take jumping. And I think if you jump another 2 clear rounds, you're going to be very close to winning it. There may be 2 double clears, 2 teams double clear, but I think if you jump another 2 clear rounds, you could just be sitting on top of the podium.
Interesting. Now, you got to go before Riesenbach in the last round, and because actually the way it's worked out with your time, do you think that actually helps you putting that first sort of score, that level on the board, and making them fight back against it?
Yeah, obviously if we jump double clear, which is obviously the intention, then it will definitely put pressure on Riesenbach, because they know they cannot make a mistake. So it's actually for us an advantage to be a little bit further back.
And Harry's just looking as cool and as confident as ever?
Harry doesn't get too excited about anything, and Greg is probably about the same, so it'll be good.
Well, Mark, they really are cool, calm and confident. Back over to you.
Thank you very much. Only Rob Hoekstra can pull off that hat and those sunglasses. There's a reason why he is so cool in this championship hunt. Speaking of those teams on double clear, one of the best performances that we've seen from the Rome Gladiators in the 2023 season was delivered in Global Champions League Round 1. Rosie is standing by with their two competitors. Let's get some thoughts, some reaction to how it went for Rome Gladiators and what to expect in GCL Round 2. Rosie, talk to us.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I've got both riders with me now, starting with Beth. What a fantastic round that was for you both. How do you feel after that?
Thank you. We're both so thrilled, and it was just the two girls here this week, so we had a lot of pressure on to come out of the gate on fire, and we're just so proud of both our horses. We couldn't be happier.
You're in the middle of the standings at the moment, but surely the top four is still in your mind.
It certainly is. I'm coming out on a second horse, on Nika, who I know very well, and so I'm excited to bring her out for the second round. And Nina will just need to do the same again with Cartier, which I know she's absolutely capable of doing. I'm going to be a little faster, hopefully, and that's going to move us up the rankings is what our plan is.
So your plan is really to push for this round then?
Absolutely.
Nina, you are the young rider on this team coming out. How are you going to play this second round? How does the pressure feel for you?
Yes, it's a bit of pressure. As Beth say, we are both together and we are just here, like both of us together. So it's a bit of pressure, but honestly, I like the pressure. So I'm gonna try to do my best. I'm gonna try to have a little bit more rhythm also for this second round. And Cartier was just amazing in the first one, so I hope I'm going to be good as well.
And you've been walking the course with your team manager, Nick Skelton. What advice has he given you?
He told me to have more rhythm and to use a bit more the track on the course because Cartier has a huge stride, so sometimes I'm a little bit too slow to hold this big stride, so to use a bit more the outside track on the course.
So tactically for you, this is going to be a bit of a different round as well. It's also gone up a little bit higher too. I'm going to let you go and walk the course for a second time, but girl power it is for the Rome Gladiators. Back to you, Mark.
Oh, I love that, Rosie. Thank you very much. They were outstanding in Global Champions League Round 1. Can they reproduce those goods in Round 2 and perhaps get onto the podium and shake things up amongst Riesenbach International, Paris Panthers, Stockholm Hearts? Keep an eye out for Rome Gladiators going into GCL Round 2. As far as individual performances are concerned in this team competition, there are a handful of riders that really stood out for their team. Perhaps none more so than Abdulrahman Araji for Riyan Blue, powered by Al Hilal. Coming out on Ventago in Round 1, he was absolutely sensational. Team manager David Will cheering along in the kiss and cry. A sensational clear for Al Raji. Let's just quickly show you what took place for him as he came out for Riyan Blue.
Well, Abdurrahman, what a fantastic clear from you. Your grin says it all.
Yeah, honestly, it's not something new on Ventago. He always do that. He already did it in La Coruña already, and he did it in Paris, and now he's on fire, I must say. I didn't expect he will be ready to deliver all these results super early, especially I bought him, I think 6 or 7 months ago, and he's already jumping the biggest tracks in the world, and he's doing such a great job. Yes, I have to do what I have to do, but he's the one who's jumping and he's giving everything. So I'm very happy to have him.
It's a really great partnership. And for the team, you're only going into Round 2 with 4 penalties. That's brilliant.
Yes, I must say that Jessica, she did such an amazing round. I think she wasn't lucky because her horse was also flying. The only fence that barely touched it, she had it down. So hopefully that next round will come back stronger so we can do a better round.
I saw you chatting when you were cooling down your horses. What were you discussing?
I was discussing that honestly, like when I went in, I had a plan to do from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 6. I was thinking to do the 7 because my horse has a very big stride. And then when I jumped the Oxer, I realized that no, I can't do it, and I had to change my mind. And then I was afraid that David will be angry, but he wasn't.
And will it be the same team for Round 2?
I I think we'll keep it as a secret because I don't know, honestly. Like, I'm sure that I'm jumping, but it was between either Jessica or David. Both they were good. That's a good problem to have when you have like 3 top riders and all of them they're ready to give it all. So I'm very happy to have this thing to think about. But I think either the same, or if David is in, I do believe that all of us will be such a great team.
Like you said, it's a great problem to have. Well done and good luck for round 2.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Smile on the face of Al Raji, and that partnership, as he reminds us, still only 7 months old, and take a look at how it is already developing, starting to improve, starting to get stronger, jumping some of the toughest courses in the world and producing clears like that. It does bode incredibly well for what is to come for that combination going forward. Speaking of what is to jump, we now know, of course, GCL Round 2 is going to be bigger, is going to be more technical, is going to be more challenging. Well, Gareth is once again back inside the ring for us to give us some explanation, some talking points as to what Uliana Vidzani has put together for these riders here today for GCL Round 2. Let's hear about the course walk.
Welcome back, everybody, down here to the arena floor here at the Royal Hospital, Chelsea. We are right down here in the heart of the action. Yes, we know it is a big challenge that lies ahead of all of these riders in the GCL second round. It is certainly a step change from round 1. A very different type of course. Certainly very open, very running in places, but also very big. We go up a hole in height to 1.60 m in this second round. So right from the beginning, you know it's going to be a sizable challenge. Of course, jumping the fences clear is what they need to worry about doing first. But when it comes to that final test, that final top step, time as well could still play somewhat of a moment in it. I thought we'd come right down here beside this Longines timepiece and have a little look here from fence 6 onwards, because this big, wide, stretching parallel, which comes off the curve line from the Global Champions fence, it is out there at 1.55 m wide, 1.50 m high, and they've got to turn right-handed. They're rolling back round to come down here in front of the Royal Hospital, Chelsea. Over there is a mascot making the crowd very, very happy. Of course, the new mascot's out this week. But this beautiful, solid, red poled fence number 7, the Global Champions League fence, is likely to be a key fence. Solid colours, always that little bit harder to jump. And again, there's nothing being given in terms of the width here of these fences. It's a big, wide stretch that sets them up for the line that follows. And I find this absolutely fascinating, because we're going to turn our way down here. Now, Uliano has put 4 strides in, but these 4 strides giving them extra length. So they've got to really consider which way they go. Let's take a little look down. You can follow Philip Schulter-Topov, of course, who's just jumped that quite brilliant clear round for Riesenbeck International. Because the double as it is now, how many are you going to go down there on?
4.
Exactly 4. Truly 4.
There the Oxa, and then the last stride a little on the backhand, because the double is short enough then.
I was going to say the double does come a little bit short, a little bit quick. We're going to have a little look at that, because also you've got in the bottom here the double of water trays. Now the water tray draws the eye of the horse down into the bottom of the fence, while at the same time the rider's eye has got to stay on the top pole here, because at 1.50 m they know, there is no doubt, they don't take a lot of touching before they fall flat to the floor. And as we just double checked with Philip, what I thought I already knew anyway, but this distance is short. They are really going to have to sit back and hold, because straight out in front of them is the exit gate. The horses always pull towards home. And if you've got a horse that's a little bit hard, a little bit more difficult to keep that level of control, well, this could certainly undo your round. And you can see why the team managers and the riders are saying that getting an extra clear out here could certainly send you a long way. But when you land out of this, I just want to also pay note to where the next fence is. I'm not sure I've got time to walk there, but it's all the way round in the middle of the arena. The golden plank on top of the Prague playoff fence. And this is an area, first and foremost, you had this test of lengthening and shortening within this related line. And then suddenly the course designer is saying, go for it, run, charge, let your horse go. with the delicate of most delicate fences awaiting you out there in the middle of the course, which I'm fascinated to see how they keep their control, because that long, open, rolling turn is certainly something that I think is going to challenge them. They keep on pushing. We're going to move over here now towards what is going to be the make or break fence on this course. It is fence number 12, the last fence out here on the Global Champions League. We've seen on so many occasions the final fence causing heartbreak for teams across the globe. When they get this far, they think they've got there. Some of the horses will have been doing 2 rounds of jumping here today. Fitness, stamina, it all comes into it. And then you get to this big, wide Longines fence. Of course, the drop cups on the back rail mean that even if you just give this a little bit of a rub, down it will fall. The time allowed, again, as we saw in the first round, should be enough just to keep the pressure on the riders. What it stops them doing is riding so slowly that they go for an everyday round and just, you know, it might make it a little bit easier to jump a clear round. Time alloweds are there to keep a little bit of pressure on the horses, on the riders, and to make sure that it just makes it that little bit more difficult. It's all part of the test. It's like the ultimate test of you jump the fences, but you've got to do it inside a time allowed. That is part of the magic sport of show jumping. I'm going to be absolutely fascinated to see which way this goes. Will it be the day that the Paris Panthers give themselves some sort of advantage out here? Will it be the day that Rizenbeck decide that they just show how determined they are? Well, we're going to find out, because in there as well, the Stockholm Hearts at the top of the board, alongside the Rome Gladiators, and let's not discount Madrid in Motion either for what could possibly be their day of days. Just going to take that chance to walk round because we have got a little bit of time, and I want to show you this Global Champions fence. The fence over here in the middle, this delicate little plank, and you've seen how far I've walked. I mean, they've got so much time to think. Sometimes I think with horses and riders, the less time you give them, the sharper they are. We've seen it before in the Global Champions League. There's nothing to it. Flat as you like cups, there is absolutely nothing. If the wind picks up here today, it'll blow this plank down all on its own. Horses and riders need to be very careful. I'm not going to, but I could lift this up with just my little finger. This plank, this golden plank, of course, all part of the Prague playoffs come November. That's where we're all going to be for those playoffs in November, is going to be another of the exciting fences out here. Riyan Blue has set a really special challenge, Mark. I am so excited to see which way this goes.
I have a burning question before I let you go. Did you get a t-shirt from Sammy and Paco before we say goodbye to you?
No. I'm very sad about this.
This is unacceptable.
Can we sort this out?
This is unacceptable. Get to your commentary box.
I'm off.
You're off. Thank you very much, Gareth, giving us a wonderful job in the course walk, in and out, as to what the riders will be expecting, anticipating, facing here in Global Champions League Round 2, as to what Riyan Blue has put together. We might well jump into the warm-up ring as well a little bit later on, show you what exactly it looks like, what the riders face moments before coming through the end gate to compete here in Global Champions League. That and more coming up next here on GCTV. Stay with us. We're back in a moment.
Courageous,
Organized. Dedication.
skillful, artist,
Modern.
genius,
Perfection.
I'm trained to get in the right state of mind.
I am Peder Fredriksson.
He has a lot of experience, a great rider.
Peder is really inspiring. He loves to share his knowledge.
When you win, you're celebrating together. If it goes badly, you share it with the team. I like it.
but it's not so easy.
He has a lot of skills.
Peder made the sport bigger in Sweden. The sport would be different if he wouldn't have been there.
Biggest moment with the most pressure, he can stay so calm and so focused.
And that is the answer. How could it be number one in the world?
And this is Pursuit of Greatness.
Welcome back to GCTV. Welcome back to London as we get ready for Global Champions League Round 2. A slight turn in the weather. Is that going to have an impact for the teams that maybe are coming out earlier on, as we perhaps predictably see a bit of overcast weather coming over the London skies here? Before we get to that, and before we get to the starting lineup and remind you those 5 teams on double clear, talk about the top 4 hunt as Stockholm Hearts take the lead on that over Saint-Tropez and the Prague Lions. Riesenbeck and Paris both on double clear. We found it intriguing to try jump into the warm-up space today. Often not seen live on television, often not shown or talked about here on GCTV. We figured that it's a great opportunity, and I can see through the cameras here behind me that there is a huge crowd that is outside this warm-up area. So popular has it become that they have the opportunity to walk right up to the fence to watch the riders do their final preparation, their final warm-up. As we take a closer look at the London setup here, a little bit earlier on as the rain began to fall over the arena, and it has been an on-again, off-again day as far as the weather is concerned. Closing a few moments before we get ready for Global Champions League Round 2. We do want to see if we can try and pop into the warm-up and give you a slightly better perspective, a slightly clearer understanding as to what the riders go through just moments before wrapping up and coming into the arena, coming through the warm-up, coming through the in-gate, and then having to go on and jump. Rosie is standing by. Rosie, I'm very intrigued by this. I want you to take it through it for us. Show us what is in this warm-up ring. What do the riders face in moments before coming through that in-gate and competing, Rosie?
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I'm down here at the warm-up, as you can see, and we've got access all areas for you here today. And as you can tell, it's actually a much calmer environment than in the arena. And a lot of the riders having just to really work together to make sure they're not colliding in the arena. They've all got to work together to make sure they all get the warm-up that they wanted. But I can tell you something, when they get into that arena, that working together goes quite quickly and the competitiveness kicks in. But down here in the warm-up arena, if we just have a little look over here, they've also got a screen and a tent that the riders can watch the other rounds, and whether they do or not is completely up to them, but they do have that option to see what else is going on. But uniquely down here at the warm-up arena, it is very close to the main arena, so if you're up next you can hear the bell, you can hear exactly what's going on, and I can only imagine that mentally that really builds up the pressure and really builds up the tension. But just in the arena you've got the aides going and putting up and down the fences for each rider, really helping them warm up their horses. Before they go into the arena, they get a boot check as well. Just before they go in, the horses get checked over, and people are actually raking the surface in here in front of the jumps as well, in between riders, just so that everyone has the chance to jump on the best ground possible before they go in. I can tell you something, the tension is really building in the warm-up arena. A lot of riders chatting to each other as well, chatting tactics before they go in, and then they come round and they're called to the post by another microphone over there, and it's their turn to go into the arena. Mark, it's just wonderful down here.
I love that, Rosie, I really do. If you talk about the tension building up well before the riders even get into the ring, that is the moment where they are together, they, you say, discussing tactics, talking their way around what may follow in their round to come. I find that fascinating. I love that we are able to take you behind the scenes, to take that camera there, to show you that warm-up area. Thank you very much, Rosie. We'll get more from her a little bit later on as the afternoon unfolds and as we get closer and closer to the start of Global Champions League Round 2. Let's remind you as to how it looks. Let's remind you as to how it stands going into the second round, as there you can see a little bit of overcast cloud creeping up over the arena here as we sit on the doorstep of the veterans, who have been such incredible hosts already and will continue to do so throughout the rest of today, and of course for the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of London tomorrow. For now, we stay Global Champions League. We stay with 5 teams on double clear. Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M. Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland. We remind you of the overall Global Champions League win record that they are chasing, and a back-to-back title after winning as the Berlin Eagles in 2022. Madrid Emotion, Paris Panthers looking to dethrone Riesenbeck International, and then perhaps the underdogs, the all-women power team of the Rome Gladiators. That then are your teams that find themselves on double clear and will be the last 5 teams to go in today's starting lineup in the end of Global Champions League Round 2. So stay with us live from London here. GCTV continues with the second round of Global Champions League. We'll see you soon.
the lineup as well, when you can see Peter de Vos and Niels Brun Seals all part of the mix out there, Darren de Misroy, Andrescu. So looking forward to seeing just how this all comes together. The golden statue in the centre, that of King Charles II. 300 years ago he commissioned the Royal Hospital Chelsea, and now this nation under the leadership and of course under His Majesty King Charles III. Now there on the far side is the hospitality, the VIP, as we know it is absolutely crammed with the guests in the posh seats, but everyone out there gets a seat, and there's some really fabulous viewing. It's such a great venue to come and watch this sport. You get to see it so close up. I love the seats down in front of the Royal Hospital, the low seats, because you are as close as you will ever get to these horses and riders when they are jumping these fences. So let's see how this all works out here. It's all set to start, because the first to go is ready to get underway. David Will and My Prince van der Dorperheid, the 11-year-old gelding by a Silver Star. He has been a team rider for Riyan Blue. He is a rider that knows how to go quickly, and this horse, as I said, his Grand Prix winning ride from Mexico, he was clear with this horse as well in Miami. He ended up finishing in 5th. He had a fence down in the jump off, but he was the quickest. It is a partnership that had pace aplenty, and I actually think if he can, and I guess that's the classic word, isn't it, if he can go clear, he could well put a time on the board that really leaves the others thinking here this afternoon, and gives us a really good indication as to what is achievable. What a great skyline, to the Shard in the background, to the London's Eye, to the foreground here of course, this arena. Now set to go, the 11-year-old My Prince van der Dorperheid, Germany first out. David Will to start us off then. Currently 17th in the overall standings this year on the Longines Global Champions Tour. And let's have a little look at this course as he goes round. Starting 150 square, and you're right into it. This roll back turn, comes tight, double, goes a little bit sideways, but he manages to ride that brilliantly, and then it's quite quick to the parallel. Again, looking for the inside lines. 160 upright, stretch 155 wide, and you're being sent away from the turn you actually want to make, and then this slightly short distance out, and that, well, we looked at it a little earlier in the coursework and said it was going to prove difficult. It is a really short 2 strides coming out of that double at 8A and B, that long run round to the plank, over the taxis, and then into this final line. Well, 8 shows that a Grand Prix winning combination has just had 2 down, despite David looking to try and put an impressive time on 66.93, well inside the time allowed. So he certainly cut a few corners where he could, but with 8 penalties scored, very much out of play. The other thing we should perhaps note, of the 46 riders individually that will start this competition, the top 40 of them will qualify for the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix here tomorrow. That's also part of what this class fulfills. So, 1 gone and a long way to go. David Will, though, gives us a clue that this is no give out there from Uliano this afternoon. Gilles Thomas, the young man from Belgium, he had a win here in London last year. He's had a brilliant couple of years in the sport. He's really matured. Despite his young years, he's become a leading light for Belgium, and when he's needed as well.